Warning, this podcast contains spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Scaredy Cat, have a scary chat. Scaredy Cat with Rob and Ash.
Welcome back to Scaredy Cat. I'm Robbie,
And I'm Ash.
and this is the podcast where one person who loves horror films
And someone else who would rather not.
get to talk about them.
Yep.
We just got back from Texas.
Thank God. It is so fucking hot down there.
It reminded me of all the reasons we left.
Chiggers, heat,
Mosquitoes,
snakes,
saw some snakes.
the impossibility to not eat meat in a meal.
Getting the wrong order from Whataburger.
Oh, yes. Okay, so it was nighttime. It was our son's birthday. We had just seen Spider-Man, which is very good. And we're on our way home. We decided to stop at Whataburger and get, and it is Whataburger, not Waterburger, but I say Whataburger because that's just how you say it.
You do? I say Whataburger.
It's Whataburger. Anyways, so
I used to call it Burger King.
That's
I had a lisp when I was a
'cause you
kid,
had a very cute
And I'd call it
lisp.
Burger King.
That's
And
so
they'd all
cute.
make fun of me and laugh at me.
Who
and
made fun of you?
Everybody. Even my parents made fun of me. It was terrible.
Your parents are assholes.
I had to go through therapy.
Well, I mean, you
I
literally
literally did go through speech therapy.
You did, yeah.
Boom.
I mean, that's not really a. Anyways, so we wanted some dessert, so we went and we got some. We ordered some apple pies and chocolate chip cookies from Whataburger because they have really good apple pies.
I don't know if you would call them really good apple pies,
They're good.
but when it's like 10 o'clock at night, they're the only option. Like, it's better than going to a McDonald's or to a Jack in the Box or to a Burger King and getting an apple pie.
I don't think Burger King does apple pies.
I know, which is why you wouldn't go there.
I don't know. I prefer Whataburger's apple pies to McDonald's apple pies any day of the week.
Right.
So we didn't check the back. And we were like, when we got it, we're like, man, it smells like French fries in
It
here.
smells a lot like French fries, which I assume because, the whole place smells like French fries.
Right, because they make French fries. So we didn't check. Then we got home. We opened the bag. We had 2 hamburgers and 2 French fries. 2 orders of French fries, not 2 single French fries.
So we got like a number...
2 number ones.
Yeah.
And
we don't eat meat.
No, so that is not what we wanted.
So we ended up eating
The fries.
a little bit of fries and not having apple pie.
Shit, man, we ate all those fries. But
Oh, man, it was just so hot.
it was so hot. I understand.
Why would a human being live there on purpose? I don't get it.
I understand how that kind of heat would drive a person to murder people and wear their skin as their own.
But that doesn't make any sense because that didn't even happen there.
That's true. But I could see how it would. Actually, I can't. Because I'm going to tell you one thing.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be hotter.
Other people's skin is more hot than just wearing your own.
It is hotter.
Hotter.
Hotter than... it is. Why would you do that in Texas?
It's dumb. Especially during the summer. That was it's obviously during the summer. So if you can't tell, what we're talking about this week is...
Texas Chainsaw Massacre #2.
Because we had this...
screwed ourselves.
We had this great idea of doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre to commemorate our trip home for the first time in like 2 years. It's going to be so great, blah, blah, blah. The movie actually wasn't terrible. And then...
it wasn't good.
It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't bad.
But it was like, well, shit, now we have to do all the rest of them.
It turns out there's more than just one.
There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
More than and they're all theatrical released.
Yep.
Which is gnarly.
I think, most of them are theatrical released. I think there's probably one in there that wasn't. But we'll get to that. In the meantime, we need to catch up.
Does he go to space at some point?
Does he? No. No.
Okay.
Leatherface never goes to space.
That is disappointing.
He is, and I think the only reason is because they stopped doing sequels and they went back and did a reboot.
The craftsmanship that goes into those masks that he makes is pretty impressive. I mean, just the sewing and all of
you think they're sewing in
the eyelash extensions. I mean, I would think so.
What do you have to sew?
I'm sure there's...
I think you just cut and peel.
Oh, I just got weird shivers. I'm
just
sure
cut,
there's
peel,
something.
and paste, I think.
What are you pasting? No, because it's too hot. It's gonna melt to your face?
I don't think he cares.
I think he should.
I think Leatherface is.
I don't know. Could you imagine the curing process that would go into making that, and how bad would that shit stink?
So anyway.
Yes, Leatherface.
So back to the movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This is 12 years later. Not in movie terms. Like, this happened 12 years later.
In people years, it's 12 years later.
So, in your story of Leatherface and Nene Macaw.
Okay.
Where are they now?
If you will remember, he killed Mama, and he went and picked up the stripper of his dreams, Nene Macaw, from Baby Dolls.
Mm-hmm.
The bat that Leatherface... Did I give him a name last time?
I just called him Leatherface.
Let's give him a name. I feel
Chad.
like that's kind of impersonal.
Seems like a Chad.
No, I did give him a name. Samson? I did. I named him Samson. I remember now.
Okay. So
Samson had masturbated with a bat last time.
Yes, that's right.
And the bat was killed.
So yours is Texas Chainsaw Massacre number 2, Revenge of the Bat. Because no, the bat was not killed. It ran off to tell Batman. Mm-hmm.
We thought it died, but it didn't. So that was your previously on.
Okay.
So now we're with Samson and Nene Macaw, and they are in his truck, and they are going east to start a new life, because West Texas, honest to God, is a hole. You don't want to go there. He's heading to Dallas, to the big city, right? To go with Nene Macaw. They're gonna sell mama suits. There's enough.
They have reservations in the ball.
At the reunion tower at the ball that no person that's actually from Texas has ever been to. Meanwhile, back at the Bat Cave, our bat friend, he's told Batman the jig. It's up.
The jig is up. Okay.
And so Batman is real pissed because he doesn't like his little bat buddies getting
fucked.
I mean,
can see that.
Who would? That's terrible. They're tiny little creatures. They have little people hands. They're very scary looking. So he gets in his little bat car or whatever, and then they drive off. But then he realizes he has no fucking idea where Samson is because the bat doesn't know.
Yeah, but he's the greatest detective there is. So
that's not true. Not this Batman. This Batman's a little bit dumb. Alfred's left. He's a mess. His suit's dirty. He's got cereal all over the front of it. He's got a Cheerio stuck to his butt cheek.
In the Batmobile, there's like Cheerios and shit up in the
in between the seats, and he's got like
it's got dog hair in there.
He's got Whataburger bags stuck in the door, like
Dunkin' Donuts, the shit in there. Oh no,
it can't be
Dunkin' Donuts. There's no Dunkin' Donuts in Texas.
He's got snow cone cups in the back seat.
Cups on the floor.
It's a mess. It's a mess. Without Alfred, he can't do shit. Alfred is dead. We find out that
Nene Macaw stabbed him.
He had,
but that's for another episode. We find that out. That Nene Macaw is somehow related to Alfred's death.
Alfred had dysentery and he died.
Were they on the Oregon Trail?
Yeah. Somebody pressed the wrong button.
Would you like to look around?
So he's like, well, fuck it, little bat. We can't go anywhere. We got to stay here until we figure it out. So the little bat's like, well, why don't we go to Samson's house? So that's how bats talk. It's really...
Next thing that happened was...
It's an obnoxious film, really. They go to Samson and Mama's house, and they find splayed out Mama. And it's real gross. And then they also find a bunch of other skinless people in the basement.
Okay.
Which is weird because not a lot of people have basements in Texas. So that's suspicious, first of all.
So he checks with the architecture.
And then he realizes that it's a false basement.
It's not really a basement.
It's really the first floor of the house.
Right.
But they've just put so much dirt on top of up against the house, so it looked like a basement.
I like the idea that they didn't. Like, he just thought he was in the basement the whole time.
It just blew. And
it really just is not a basement. So this Batman is chasing down this whole basement thing, and everybody's like, what are you talking about, basement?
Like,
it's like, the basement.
The house with the basement. And they're like, there's no basement in that house.
All right, so the second one really focuses on the Batman story. So the last shot of this movie is Batman honing in on the Motel 6 that they're staying in.
No, it's a
Red Roof Inn.
no, La Quinta.
No, they're not fancy enough for
Yeah,
La
no,
Quinta.
he went all out.
It's a Ramada. It's got to be a Ramada.
No, it's a La Quinta. He went all out because
Okay,
this
but
is
it's a La Quinta
This
that
is the one-legged stripper of his dreams, Robert. You're not gonna cheap.
it's a La Quinta, but it has seen better days.
Haven't they all, really?
It's kind of like when we were traveling home. Like, we stayed at 2 different Holiday Inns, but there was definitely a difference.
Yeah,
in
the
the
first
quality.
one smelled like mold and toes.
The second one was very nice.
Yes, no toes in that one.
So this is La Quinta that the Q won't light up anymore. So it just
Is there a
says
Q?
La Quinta.
There's a Q.
It just
in
says
La
La
Quinta.
Quinta. Most everything in it is out of order. Like
There's no ice.
the ice machine's out of order, and it has a little drip coming off of it. Just drip,
Oh, gross.
drip, drip, drip.
That's always so nasty.
The soda machine next to it is mostly empty.
It's the kind of place where when you get a shower, you don't want the shower curtain to touch you.
Right, it's what they invented shower shoes for.
Yeah, it's one of those places where you don't want to sleep in the bed, but you're so tired that you will.
And they want it to look bigger, so they have one of those round out shower curtains on it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a tiny little tub. You get out of there.
Are we snobs?
Is this being snobbish?
I think we're snobs.
So anyway, so we're gonna watch this movie, and we'll get back and let you know if Nene Macaw or Samson make an appearance at all. Maybe the Bat or the Batman. We'll see.
Sure.
All right, we're back. We just watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre numero 2. Where was this one filmed?
I believe the answer is Texas.
Where specifically in Texas was this?
I believe the answer is the DFW area.
Yes, it is. In fact, it is the most Texas-y thing I've ever seen in my life. We've got
What,
lots to
that
talk about the
signs?
OU Texas game.
Which is a real thing, and it is really crazy.
And the weird thing is, like, the first film was not this Texas-y.
Well, I think that they probably got a lot of backlash from people from Texas that were like, this isn't us. We don't eat people. And
There
then,
was no Shinerbach in this movie. Obviously, it is not in
oh
Texas.
my God, there was so much Shiner.
It was brought to you by Shinerbach.
If you don't know, Shinerbach is a kind of beer that's sold predominantly in Texas. A lot of shooting at things.
Who we got? We've got some college kids who are on their way to the OU Texas game.
They're wearing stupid sunglasses.
Yeah.
These are yuppies, okay?
They're
what
yuppie
you
kids.
have to understand about the 80s is that there was a thing called yuppies.
They don't exist anymore?
Not
Have they been phased out?
not to the they're not as hated now as they were in the South in the 80s. My dad had a book that was called Save an Alligator, Kill a Yuppie. So we skipped a part, the very beginning.
Oh, the Twilight Zone intro.
Yeah.
So this movie, just like the original movie, has a long expose of text that comes up. And
Did the first one have that
It
too?
had it too.
You're right.
That's
You're
right. And it was done by the dad from Family Matters or something. Not Family Matters.
I don't think so.
But one of those shows, and he did it for like a marijuana cigarette. And this one is extremely lengthy. If you need to know what happened in the first film,
You really just need. Actually, you should watch the first film because it's pretty good.
but if you didn't, they give it to you all.
Yeah, you don't gotta.
You can
Maybe
just,
it's because
the
it's 12 years later. They're giving you a refresher.
and that's just the first paragraph. The second paragraph tells you what happened in between.
Yep.
And then the third paragraph tells you everything you need to know about the characters that you're going to meet in this film.
Yep. But at the end, I have a problem with something.
What's that?
There's a part of it where it says they're talking about all the murders and blah blah blah, and they say it still haunts Texas.
Right.
Bullshit.
Well,
No, it doesn't, because it didn't happen there.
imagine that
Don't
a
blame
movie-
us for things. Don't blame us for stuff. We have enough problems. We have shitty senators. We have embarrassing ex-presidents. We don't need other stuff.
This one, unlike the first one, is less about building like a creepy vibe, and you can almost just throw the Twilight Zone music on the end, and it sounds like you're entering an episode of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, except the titles were lazy as fuck. It was just red text on black screen.
So this film was produced by Canon Pictures.
Really?
Yes. Like Cannon. Not the camera company.
Oh. Like Nick Cannon? Was it Nick Cannon's dad? Is that how they made their money?
I don't think so.
Oh.
And their logo was the most psychedelic 80s logo that I've seen, where it's just a giant C that's almost a G. And then
that's right. Now I remember.
It comes at you in 3D, and you feel like you're being sucked into a wormhole.
It was pretty
totally
bananas.
Believed it. But then we get music immediately, which is...
And it was bad music.
It wasn't...
It was like John Carpenter reject music.
Yeah, it was more like John Carpenter's like fiddling on a piano. Or a synth
his
keyboard.
noodling.
Yeah. For a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's real long.
On nothing but black screen with red text.
Oh, but something exciting does happen.
So they're driving along the road, and they just keep shooting signs for Dallas.
Yeah, one of the kids is wearing sunglasses with eyeballs, and they were rich college kids because they had a really nice car, and they had a car phone, which in the 80s you basically had to be a billionaire to have.
Right. This is another problem I had with this film. Everything is repeated. They don't just shoot one sign. They shoot all the signs.
Well, they gotta drive their point. Maybe they just didn't have a lot of dialogue, and so they were just trying to make do with what they had. So they're driving along, being doucheheads.
Yeah, they
running people off the road, blah blah blah.
They cut off a truck. There was a lot of things in this film that if I didn't know Tobe Hooper directed this...
Tobe, you mean?
I wouldn't think this was a Tobe Hooper film. I wouldn't, because this has almost nothing in common with the first film.
I don't know. So anyways, we're on a bridge. Leatherface is standing in the back of a truck.
Yes, he is perfectly balanced in the back of this truck.
That
wearing
man
a person suit
has some intense balancing ability. I would have fallen off in the first 3 seconds of that. So he's like leaning over the side of the car into the yuppie car and like hitting at him with a chainsaw, all the while with a dead person taped to the front of it.
Yeah. And the dead person, according to the credits, is the hitchhiker from the first film.
Which doesn't make any sense.
But they have a character that they call Chop Top, who has
Top. That is the dumbest name.
Who has the same scar and also has the same razor, like straight razor that the hitchhiker has.
I think it was a typo.
The kids have been drunk dialing this radio station with our new
heroine.
Stretch.
Yep.
Stretch. The thing about Stretch is she spends every moment wanting to scream.
We're in the weeds.
Sawyers are in a truck.
Yeah.
The yuppies are in their car.
Right.
The yuppies are going down this long bridge.
Which doesn't exist in Dallas.
It's not in Dallas.
This is supposed to be in Dallas.
So they're driving along this bridge, and the Sawyer truck is in reverse.
Yeah.
Going down this bridge.
Right. So we're supposed to believe...
But they have match speed.
We're supposed to believe
that the truck
that
in this...
Goofy Goober from the first film is driving backwards.
That their truck can go in reverse as fast as this car
in such a way that he's not knocking his brother off the back of the truck while he's dangling over the side with chainsaw in hand. And we're also supposed to believe that this chainsaw meets no resistance.
Nope.
And doesn't get stuck in anything as to pull Leatherface off of the back of this truck where he is precariously perched.
There's a lot of moments in this one where you're like, that's not how a chainsaw works.
That's not possible.
The manufacturing warranty is just
There's
fucked.
also a chainsaw store in this film.
Yes.
A full store
It's
that
all
all
they
they
sell.
sell is chainsaws.
That's it.
I want to see it.
Did you catch the license plate on that car too?
No.
It was FAHQ.
Ha ha ha.
And that's kind of the thing about this one. It's more like a black comedy.
Well, and they beat you in the head with all the stereotypes of what they're trying to portray. Like, we've got Slim, the super cool radio DJ. We've got her friend LG. Stretch. What did I say? Slim. Then we've got LG, who is her
A little creepy.
producer.
But, like, he's a creepy, nice guy.
He's creepy. He's riding the
Then
line.
how come every 5 seconds she's like, OLG?
Because she's being polite.
OLG.
The same reason she doesn't kick that stupid fucker out the second she sees him on her weird couch. Because she's trying to be polite.
Lefty, who used to be a Texas Ranger, is that what they said?
Yeah.
He is the brother of
No,
Franklin.
the dad.
Nope, brother. He's been trying to track down their killers.
Right.
He's-
I was about to say he looks so much older than them, but this is 12 years later.
Lefty is played by Dennis Hopper, who has the best accent.
That was Dennis Hopper?
Yeah, it was Dennis Hopper.
I didn't realize that.
He had the best accent of anybody.
Yeah, his was not contrived.
Everybody else was trying way too hard.
Yeah.
He just had a very slight, and it was almost like more of a command of it.
It's a confidence. Texas men, like real Texas old men, have a certain pentameter and they have a certain swagger. And it's kind of this like, you can fuck with me if you want, and we'll see what happens kind of thing. And that's kind of what he does like throughout the film, mixed with like a lot of like really fun colloquialisms that I fully enjoy.
We all know you enjoy some colloquialisms.
I love it. It's my favorite thing.
He goes to a chainsaw store. He buys...
Three.
Okay, I'm going to lay out a scenario for you.
Okay.
For 30 years, you have built a business where you sell nothing but chainsaws.
Okay. Very specific.
Chainsaws are your
Trade.
life. You live and breathe chain oil.
Ooh, that
It's
sounds
in
bad
your
for your lungs.
soul. And this guy comes in, and he's swinging them around like they're fucking baseball bats.
Jabbing with them like they're boxing gloves.
You tell him you can go test them out outside. He's got one gigantic one
A really big chainsaw.
and two very small ones. He takes it outside and proceeds to like judo chop a tree with this chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
And we do like this slow motion. This is what I'm talking about. This is this film at its best, when it just repeats and repeats and repeats and bashes something into your head. So, you're this dude.
Yeah. I
You're
feel
five
like this dude.
5 years from retirement.
All
What
he's
is your
got to do is
reaction?
sell 10 more.
He's got to meet his quota for the year. What is your reaction to watching this guy just furiously swing this chainsaw around?
Weirdly sexual laughter.
Well, that's what we get.
He definitely got a boner while he was watching it. He was like, I didn't know that you could do that, but now that I know.
Again, chainsaws don't work like they work in this movie.
I mean, I'm no landscaper, but I feel like
We have a chainsaw duel at some point in this film where Leatherface and Lefty go toe-to-toe with chainsaws, and they don't just immediately snap in two and break, which, again, is not how chainsaws work. It is not... The chain, if it comes into contact with another chain, will just break. It's just gonna break, and then you have no chainsaw.
well, those things break all the time.
Yeah.
Really easily.
So, anyway.
We have a chainsaw in the garage. We should get one more, and then we could do
Then we can get a
chainsaw
custom leather
battles.
chainsaw holster that he has.
Yeah,
somehow.
yes. Somewhere he found a shoulder holster for one of the chainsaws
And then
with an attachment to hang the second one from.
the other two. The two
No, 'cause he
fit
was
into
holding-
the holsters on the side.
Is that what that was?
They were in holsters.
Oh my god!
You had them in holsters.
I
like
thought
they
he
were
just
fucking
had
guns.
them. I thought he just had them on like carabiners or whatever, just like hanging off his.
This
off his
film
thing.
gets so fucking bananas.
Agreed.
He meets up with Stretch and tells her to run the call in the air, which ends up bringing the Sawyers to her
Right.
in the studio.
Right.
Lefty makes a creepy pass at her.
I feel like this is like a daily thing for Lefty.
Well,
I
here's
think
the thing.
he's one of those guys
Here,
that thinks that if he pays you a compliment and buys you a Coke, then you're obligated to fuck him at least one time. And so she very, very, very nicely turns him down, and then he walks out and throws a little 4-year-old temper tantrum in the hall. Gentlemen,
by spitting on everything.
if you are hawking loogies inside of a building and throwing temper tantrums when a woman turns you down very politely, you are the problem.
Do you think that nagging got to her to a place where she finally agreed to go out for coffee?
No.
Because he's like, it sounds like he's asking her to do something that they did once, like maybe a long time ago.
I don't think so.
Because she finally buckled to his nagging.
I don't think so. I think he's just an entitled prick.
So Lefty exits the building, and she hears a noise.
Wait, Lefty?
Not
LG.
Lefty, LG. LG leaves the building, and she hears a noise. She investigates, and she finds Chop Top, who we meet for the first time. He's a hippie, and he loves music. These are the things we know about him.
Music is his life, man.
But he's also very creepy. And whereas in the first film, The Hitchhiker, who we know this is the Hitchhiker.
It's gotta be.
It's
There's
not
no
the
way
same
it's
actor, but
it's
the same mannerisms.
like demeanor. It's the same scar. It's the same props. I mean, come on, guys. Who are we trying to fool here?
The Hitchhiker was just insane. He was a crazy person who wasn't thinking anything through. He was just like going from moment to moment.
Well, it seemed like he was legitimately like mentally ill.
Right. This guy is sadistic.
Yeah.
He makes her give him a tour of the radio room, which he did a shitty tour, by the way.
While he was
Although the shark thing was funny.
yeah. While he was lighting a hanger.
Yes, a metal hanger.
And scratching his head with it.
And then picking off whatever he's scratching and putting in his mouth. And again, because this movie is all about repetition, it's only gross because we see it so many times.
Yeah. So she's showing him shit that's on the desk because she's really nervous and she wants him to leave. And
This is Lamp.
This is Lamp. This is Mr. Shark. She picks up this thing and it's like a plastic toy, and it's like a shark head on a long plastic stick, and you do the little handle in with your hands, and the shark's mouth opens and closes.
Yeah.
And so she clips it open and closes. So she goes, "Here's Mr. Shark." And here's the lamp again.
And then here's the record room. There's the exit.
Yeah.
He turns around.
And she's like, "Good night." And he's like, "Good night."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Good night." And he's like, "Good night."
Well, at first he turns the exit, and he does what?
EXIT.
So then we get the best jump scare of this entire movie. He walks over, he's like, "Well, you didn't give me the tour of the whole radio room." He says, "This is where you keep all the old music, and maybe where you keep something new." And he flips on the light, and the second he flips on that light, Leatherface just barrels out of that room.
They have got their choreography down pat.
It was a pretty good jump scare. It's the only moment where you're like, wow, this was tension.
Yeah.
Because everything else is just so blatant.
The room was dark. You know that he's in there. As soon as they show you the doorway, at the beginning of the scene, even before she gives him the tour of the desk, you're like, meh, Leatherface is in there. He's gonna pop out.
So in the same way that the hitchhiker is not the same hitchhiker, even though they claim he's not the same person, Leatherface in this movie is not the same Leatherface as from the first film. In the first movie, you get the idea that Leatherface is not even human. He does not care about other humans. He doesn't think about emotions or anything that goes along with them.
You get the idea that he's just simple.
Not only that, but like he just sees them as meat. Like he's literally just collecting livestock.
I didn't get that. I got that, like, he's just a simple dude doing his dad's bidding.
He doesn't give them a second thought as human beings. He just throws them on on hooks. He chops them up, and he gets them ready for meat. The first female he meets in this film, he falls in love with. The chainsaw becomes very phallic in the scene.
Very, 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 very phallic.
A lot of gyration.
We're just slapping you in the face with a big old dick of symbolism.
It's a gross scene.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable to watch because he's like, she's kind of trying to get away from him, and she's like straddling this like a cooler with ice and beer in it.
She's got cut-off shorts on.
And she's trying to like back away, and he's putting the chainsaw into the ice in between her legs and like thrusting
it,
back and forth. And then he finally he turns off the chainsaw.
And again, because repetition, we have to then
gotta
move.
do more.
We've got to move into more.
So then he literally takes the end of the chainsaw and puts it on her crotch.
Yes.
And gyrates.
All while licking his lips. Because that's the only way that we know
with
he
his
knows how to convey.
nasty tooth hole. Oh, that for me, that tooth hole part, that was the grossest part of the whole movie.
He suddenly starts the chainsaw. She starts screaming. He runs to the next room and destroys everything. And I guess in his head, he's like, now they think she's dead.
Right.
He then turns around, and again, because fucking repetition, he gyrates with the chainsaw between his legs again.
At her.
Why did he do it 3 times?
I don't know. Maybe whoever made this movie had OCD, and everything had to be done at least 3 times.
So then he leaves. They drag LG off to become their next meat. You find out that chef... Oh, we skipped this a little bit. The chef from the first movie, we find out his name is... Drayton? Drayton Sawyer. And he has made... The reason they're in the DFW area is because he's become quite a well-known chili chef.
Right.
And he sells his chili to people, and he's won lots of awards. So their whole operation here, everything is about making chili.
Right.
And the trophy that he gets...
Ugh.
Is literally dripping with chili.
It's so grody.
Very gross. Everything in this film is gross.
Yeah, that's the truth. Everything was gross in one way or another.
Yeah. Either the personalities are gross, the literal...
What's happening is
visuals
gross.
are gross. The connotations behind it is gross.
Yeah.
Stretch does the only logical thing that you can do in a situation like this. She jumps in her truck and she follows them back to their home.
Which is so incredibly stupid. She was fine. The thing to do in that situation, like we talked about with Matt last week, call the police.
She meets up with Lefty there. Lefty is gone insane. He's just off his rocker. He's wearing dual holsters with 2 chainsaws in them. He's got the giant chainsaw, and he starts spouting off about how he's going to do God's work and tear down, like, the devil's house.
Yeah, it was real weird.
He's got these handcrafted holsters that...
There's no way that he had time.
Where would you get these?
The chainsaw store.
You think they had, like, handcrafted holsters?
Yes.
That fit those 2
it was
exact
a
lengths?
store specifically for the sale of chainsaws.
Okay.
What else would they have there?
But at the same end, like, what was in there?
Chainsaws. And chainsaw
All your chainsaw accessories.
holsters. He's a chainsaw and chainsaw accessories salesman. Everything comes
Propane.
Everything comes back to King of the Hill. Everything.
So you get to see his store, and there's not a lot in there.
Chainsaws and chainsaw holsters.
It just looked like a bunch of chainsaws. I didn't see
And
like a log.
Well, they
in the
keep
middle,
those under the counter.
inside the case.
Yeah, because you got to display them. You can't just hang them up.
Dual wielding piston or chainsaw belt.
Yeah, obviously. Do you not have one of those?
So Lefty has gone insane. He's just gonna go around cutting down anything he
Pillars
finds.
inside of this fucking cave that he is also in.
And just randomly, like, he walks by 6 of them and then goes to, like, one that's crooked and cuts it down.
I wonder if they're, because I mean, I don't know how caves work, but I've never seen one with just pure pillars in the middle of them. And I mean, maybe they're stalactites. Stalactites hang tight to the ceiling.
Yes.
Stalagmites might reach the ceiling.
So he's hoping that he can knock some of these stalactites loose, and they might skewer the Sawyers.
Or maybe he's just trying to burn the mother down. He's just trying to bring the whole thing down.
That's basically
Before he goes down into the cave and starts chainsawing things,
just randomly.
he looks over at this place that they're at. It's what is it called? Texas Battleland.
Yes.
Did we look this up? Is this a real place?
Also, is it a cave? Is it like a mine? Like maybe an abandoned mine? Like, what exactly is this
It's
they're in?
very intricate, whatever it is.
It is like a giant version of an anthill.
I feel like what's this family's name? What are they called?
Sawyers.
The Sawyers do not maybe have the mental capacity to be able to do something this intricate that is not going to collapse and subsequently smother them to death.
But they are capable of decorating the entire thing with bodies.
Yeah, they got fucking Martha Stewart in there.
So Stretch falls through.
Yes.
And she lands on a big pile of bones.
Right.
In the bodies.
So now we're in the inner caverns of this fucked up cannibal cavern. Cannibal cavern.
Sure, yeah. Theme park.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we should do. Remember our haunted house?
So we've got the levels up, so then they can have a cannibal cavern at the bottom.
Yeah, a basement that looks
like
like a cavern, cannibal cavern. I like it.
Yeah, we could even like make little tunnels that they have to walk up and shit. Because there's a lot of like random tunnels that.
Yeah.
Or random,
Well, and
like,
did you
pipes.
ever go to any of the like caves and stuff whenever we lived in Texas, like when you were a kid, like in
No.
Georgetown or whatever?
I didn't know there were caves in Texas.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them. We used to go down to San Marcos when I was a kid because there's like a living cave in San Marcos, like all the shit's still alive down there. And it is the only place in Texas in July where it is cool enough to breathe outside. So we used to go to the caverns when I was a kid. And there's...
Now that I think about it, I do remember going to some caves.
There's
like dinosaur-themed caves or something like that.
They're not themed. I mean, they are...
Like they had big dinosaurs outside. I can't remember if it was Texas, though.
I don't know. Maybe you went to like the Creation Museum or something like that. Sounds like something your parents would
No,
do.
they had like big statues of dinosaurs outside.
Oh, you're talking about Fossil Rim. When you would go, and they did have a giant T-Rex and a giant Brachiosaurus outside because there are actual dinosaur tracks in the river.
Yeah, maybe that's what
And
it
you'd
is.
go and play in the river and in the dinosaur tracks and shit. That was actually pretty cool. But no, caves are different. Caves are underground. So
Right. Yes.
So you walk through the main cavern parts, and then it's wide enough and tall enough to where everybody can walk through comfortably or whatever. But there was this side part that you could go through if you wanted to, and they'd meet you around the other side. Like you just walked around.
That's the part of the cave we're all terrified of. You
But
go ahead. We'll meet you on the other
It was
end.
literally called Short Man's Revenge because it started off at normal person height and it got down so low by the time you got to the other side that you pretty much had to crawl on your hands and knees to get out of it, which is like my worst nightmare. I am horrified of like super confined spaces like that. Like watching The Descent, all of that scares the shit out of me. The dark, the caves, the tight spaces, holy fuck, the water.
Clothing.
The water? Oh my god. That's like all of my worst fears in one movie. We should do that movie. But that's not this movie. So, what were we talking about?
Yeah, they kind of just squandered the whole cave thing.
Yeah, I mean, they really could have done more
No claustrophobia.
with it. But I mean, honest to God, I am pretty fucking shocked that there was no Texas flag or Texas memorabilia in this
Oh, I know, right?
goddamn
Or they all
cave.
had shiners at the table.
Yeah, like, oh, look, Texas chainsaws.
Some spurs hanging on the wall. Maybe some longhorns.
Yes. So, what's her name? Stretch,
Slim.
Tall?
Oh, no, Stretch.
Stretch. She falls onto these body parts or whatever. Then
This is all just your typical, and this is the thing with this movie. Like the first movie was, again, they were trying to hide a lot of it.
Yeah.
So it was a lot more it was a lot more implied. Like it was
Yeah.
all animal bones and a few skeletons.
This time they're just throwing it in your face.
It feels like they backed up a dump truck and they just had body parts in the back of the dump truck.
Yeah.
And then they just lifted the dump truck up and let it just splay everywhere.
Yeah.
They have weird ass decorations out of skeletons.
Which, I mean, makes sense from the first movie because that's what they did. They made that weird skeleton couch that was actually really fucking cool. Like, if I was into decorating with bones, which I could be, who knows? Life is long and weird. But if I was into it, that's what I'd do. Because that'd be uncomfortable to sit in. Maybe in your, like, front sitting room where you don't really want anybody to sit on the furniture. But then why do you have it?
Also, did you notice a complete lack of flies?
Yeah, that shit
Anywhere.
would be covered in flies.
It'd be
Covered.
so rank
Big old
in there.
horse flies. It'd be nasty. So she falls into this room, and Leatherface is coming in.
Oh, we forgot the chute. She doesn't just fall into the
Chute?
room. She ends up on like
Oh
a
yeah,
Goonies style
they have
chute.
a what is it? A dumbwaiter
Yeah.
for the bodies into this body room.
So she goes Goonie style down the chute into the body piles.
And I was thinking about it, and at first I was like, where would they have gotten all of these people? But then I remembered that in the 80s in Dallas, crime exploded. It was insane. It was like the fucking Wild Wild West. There was drugs everywhere. Everybody was on cocaine. Like, it was crazy. So, probably pretty legitimately just like picked up a couple of drug addicts a day, and there you go.
The way that they got the college kids from the first, that was extremely cost inefficient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would burn a lot of gas, take a lot of time.
Well, it was the 80s. Gas was like 10 cents a gallon.
For the amount of food that they must be making to support themselves, like you can't spend.
Yeah, you need to get some nets.
Yeah, you can't spend all that time just getting 2 kids. So she stumbles across Leatherface.
No, first she stumbles across LG.
He's quite dead.
But
Well,
is he though?
he looks pretty dead.
So Leatherface comes in, she hides behind some bodies. He's preparing to skin LG. And so what he does is he removes all of LG's clothes except
His undies.
he leaves on his underwear and
Which
his
is-
socks.
Which is a big clue that, like, this guy is going to have something else to do.
Right.
Because he leaves on his
why,
boxers.
why? To skin someone, to remove all of their skin, would you leave on their underwear and socks? Unless you were just like the most modest cannibal on the face of the planet.
Well, Leatherface goes to work skinning LG.
He takes off his face.
And this is where...
and his head? Like
this-
his whole, like... This whole area right here. You can't see what I'm doing, but it's like...
Yeah, it's like forehead.
It's a lot of face.
This is Tom Savini getting to do something fun. He skins LG, brings the skin from his face over to...
Stretch.
Okay, because he discovers Stretch is there while he's skinning him.
Right.
Stretch begs for help, and I guess Leatherface...
She's like, you're not like them. I know you're nice. I know you're not meaning to do this. They're just manipulating you, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what about the last 4 hours tells her that this is not him.
The Leatherface that she meets in the radio studio is not the Leatherface she meets down there.
Oh, you mean the one that was trying to fuck her with a chainsaw?
Right. But
Oh,
he also
right.
left her completely untouched.
Yeah, but like he's
If this Leatherface...
murdering people.
If the Leatherface she meets down there was the same one that she met in the studio, he would have done something to her, like scratched her up. Like, that Leatherface completely left her untouched. This Leatherface wants to fuck with her. So he takes the mask, he takes the
Do you
skin.
think that was him trying to fuck with her? Or do you think that was him trying to show her love in his demented way?
I think this is just bad writing.
I mean,
think
the
this,
whole thing is just bad writing.
I think this part in particular is just somebody saying, you know, what would be cool.
So he takes LG's face and then he lays it on top of Stretch.
Stretch his face.
Why can't I remember her name? Lays it on top of Stretch's face and like pushes it up against her skin. I'm making all these hand gestures like
Right.
you can see me. So, like, pushes it to where, like, the blood and ew from his skin will meld itself to hers, so it'll stick better, which is nice, I guess. He doesn't want her to have droopy face.
He's also wearing LG's hat. He takes that off and puts it on her to
and
make
puts
sure
it
it
on her
stays
head.
on her face. And this is what I'm talking about. To make sure it stays on her face, he puts the hat down on it. And then he ties her hands behind her back so she can't take it off.
Right.
Like, this is all just, it'd be really gross.
I think that he was trying to show her affection, but he is kind of emotionally inept. So, the most interesting part of this whole thing, LG's not dead.
Yeah.
He pops the
Surprise.
fuck up. No face. Just pops up.
He has the mental capacity to be like, my face is gone.
But she doesn't know that it's him. For a few minutes, she doesn't realize that that's LG. The reason she realized it was him was because he spit a loogie.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Repetition is key. He spits all the way through the film. It's your mental, like, hook. Oh, that's who this is.
Right. And the only reason really that he came back to life was so that he could cut her loose so that she could run off. Before she leaves him, she puts his face skin back on.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
On him, not on her.
Yeah, it's not going to help him at all.
No.
Also, let's pause for a second. I think this is the big disconnect for this scene. The reason that, because to me, as grotesque as they tried to make this scene, it just didn't register as gross. Now, did you find it to be like you want to vomit gross?
No.
It just, I mean, like they were trying too hard, but I think the problem was her reaction to it.
Yeah. I mean, she was like, well, okay, so we got to get through this part and then I can go.
So Lefty is running around like a mad jackass.
Yep.
And he comes across Franklin
Skeleton in a wheelchair.
There is a skeleton in a wheelchair that
12
we're
years
supposed to
old.
believe for 12 years the Sawyers have been dragging around and strategically placing in their house.
From place to place.
Why would they do this?
Maybe they're hoarders.
Also, why in a house full of corpses that have been defiled in ways that make them into like nice chairs or into nice chandeliers?
Well, maybe they just feel like Franklin is already an oddity in himself because he's in a wheelchair. So they're like, oh, well, we'll just leave him like that. Or maybe they're just a little bit dumb and they think that the wheelchair is also part of his skeleton. Maybe it's a conversation piece.
it's
They're like,
their coffee table book.
Oh, where did that come from? Like we have a life-size plaster replica of a dog painted all sorts of crazy colors in our front hallway, and we have carried it with us all over the world. It has lived in every place that we've ever lived in. Franklin is their big tacky dog.
Also,
Why mess with perfection?
Also, Franklin was not in the house when he got killed in the first movie.
No, he was in the woods.
He was in the woods.
He got splayed out in the woods.
And let's run this
Well,
through.
they're cannibals. They're not gonna waste shit.
But let's run this through. When they killed Franklin, that set off the chain of events that led to her getting loose.
Right.
Her getting loose, according to the crawl at the beginning of this film, caused them to have to go on the run.
Right.
When did they stop and go collect his skeleton?
On the way home. So next in my notes, which I don't remember why I wrote this, it said, Leatherface is a peacock. What happened?
He reminded you of the peacocks that we saw.
Yes.
And that he was like really rubbing in the idea of
So
him
if you've never watched a male peacock try to entice a female peacock, it is a sight to behold.
It almost reminds me of the spitters from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
They're like
It's that exact thing. And they'll do it for days.
they'll get up in their faces and they'll be like
And when they shake their feathers like that, their little anuses contract.
It's almost terrifying.
It is terrifying.
It's a bit rapey. It's a big bit rapey.
It's very sexually aggressive. Anyways, Leatherface is a peacock, just in case.
Well, he's also a terrible secret keeper. He's trying to hide her from his family. And they're like, "What are you doing over there?" And he keeps looking back at her.
Right.
But his eyes are definitely giving away the game.
Yeah, he's got to work on that.
Yeah.
whole expression.
So they
thing.
discover that he's got Stretch, and they turn Stretch into the new.
Whoever the girl was from
the first
previous movie.
They knock her out. They take her to meet Grandpa.
Oh, and the dad says, "You're the first girl Bubba's ever brought to dinner."
Yeah.
It's a lie. He's
No.
brought girls before.
We just did this.
It's a fucking lie.
He brings girls all the time.
Don't try and trick her into thinking that she's something that she's not. That is
she
awful.
Is not special.
I mean, she is special, but like, not in this context. What is he even doing?
Stretch at this point ramps up her screaming to 11.
Oh yeah.
If you saw the first movie, they built a realistic reason for her to lose her goddamn shit.
Yeah.
Like, it is a stressful ass situation, and she loses her mind, and she's just screaming like an asshole.
Yeah.
But there's a reason.
Right.
She lost her mind. In this movie, Stretch has been screaming the whole time.
Yeah.
This is just the way she vocalizes.
She was never not screaming. Yeah.
You have,
same
and
deal.
also remember that Lefty is running around like a madman up there for what has to have been hours now. Because she's
just sawing shit down.
They knocked her unconscious, got her ready for dinner, and had dinner prepared.
Oh, that's right.
All of this took place while Lefty's still running around, supposedly like knocking shit down, and they haven't even noticed.
Can you even imagine how upsetting that would be if you were Lefty and you wanted a fight and you were just running?
I bet by now they're all terrified. Nope, they're cooking dinner.
But you're just running from cavern to cavern, just screaming
I have
and
run out of
sawing
things
shit.
to saw down.
He's gonna run out of gas at some point. Like it's gonna run out before.
I'm
before
surprised
he
he still
finds
got
anybody.
Like, again, chainsaws weren't meant for like hours of
And
use.
they're heavy. But he's got those holsters.
And he's fucking crazy at this point.
He's just got the energy of 10 mothers whose babies are stuck under elephants or whatever.
I don't think this is fear for Stretch. This is just revenge porn, like, for him.
Oh yeah, he obviously does not give a fuck
He does,
about
because
her.
he comes into the room and he'd rather have a chainsaw duel with Leatherface
Yep.
instead of trying to save Stretch, who has to, like, get herself out of that situation.
Right. Well, she's a modern 80s woman. She can get herself out of that situation.
But the scene plays out the exact same as the first one. They have dinner.
We learned that Grandpa's 137 years old.
Grandpa gets to do the hammer thing again.
Same impotent shit from before. He can't do it.
Can't do it. He misses like twice.
Why
her
they keep
once.
putting this poor old man on the spot like this, I do not
I
know.
know, poor guy.
Just hand him a dead girl and be like, she's wriggling,
Now-
and just let him pretend to hit her.
Lefty breaks in, has this fucking, like, straight out of Three Musketeers chainsaw duel with Leatherface. Chainsaws do not work this way.
They do, obviously.
If you were to clash two chainsaws together like they do, the chains would just break off, and you no longer have a chainsaw, you have a slab of metal.
I think what you are forgetting is that when our friend went to the chainsaw store,
He was swinging them around like an asshole.
well, he told them what he was going to do and that there was a possibility that he was going to get into a chainsaw fight. And they outfitted him with a chainsaw-proof chain
My
for his
goodness.
chainsaw.
So everything kind of blurs together at this point. The main point of what happens next is Chop Top takes off after a stretch. Lefty takes out Leatherface. Everybody dies.
So
Chop
wait,
Top
if
takes.
everybody dies, how do they make more movies? How many more of these are there?
Well, there's only one more of the original series. We've got Leatherface, the movie, coming up next. That's the original 3. Then they did, I believe, this is all off memory. I believe what comes next after that is The Next Generation, which was like their first attempt at a reboot.
Is that where is that like a Freddy versus Jason type scenario?
You'll find that one very interesting. I don't remember the whole film. I've seen it before, but I don't remember it. I do remember that Matthew McConaughey is in it. He plays.
I'm there.
He plays the chef in that one. I
I'm
believe.
there. I love evil Matthew McConaughey. It is my fucking favorite thing, right behind evil Leonardo DiCaprio, who is morphing into Jack Nicholson, which I fucking love so much. Now, you will have to... I'll be hearing about this
That's
for the
right.
first time also because...
I forgot. You fell asleep at
this
this point.
I had fallen asleep.
And what you missed was... So, yeah, that makes sense. So imagine The Hills Have Eyes, where she's running away from the big scary guy, and she runs up on top of that mountain.
Right.
She breaks into a little extra cave area inside this like mountain, and they have a shrine built to Mama.
Why would they have kept Mama in a cave? Mama needs to be in the house.
No women allowed. It's the He-Man Woman Haters Club down there.
Are you serious?
I don't know why she's up there. I'm just
Why
saying.
the fuck would you put Mama in a cave? Maybe that's why she's so mad.
They have her in a shrine all by herself. She's dead, by the way.
Oh.
She's very dead.
Well, I mean, they got everybody else fucking dead in the house. They
Right.
got Grandpa, who's basically a dead person.
Mama has a chainsaw. This, what has to be 100-year-old woman, or however old Mama is.
I thought she was dead.
She's dead. Like, she's 100 years dead.
Oh.
Maybe. Who knows? But she's holding a chainsaw. And in Stretch's mind, she's like, hey, there's a dusty old chainsaw. I'm sure it's got gas. I'm sure it'll work.
And that it's not corroded as fuck.
Right. So she grabs it. She's trying to start it, and that's when Chop Top is slicing at her with his razor.
Oh.
And so she's trying to
Why
start
didn't
it.
she just use it like a blunt object and just hit him with it?
Because that wasn't enough,
He
I
seems
guess.
a little squirrely. You could probably knock him off balance pretty easy.
So she finally gets it started after multiple stab wounds. She runs him through with the chainsaw. He tumbles out into the shaft down below, and then Stretch goes outside and stands there with the chainsaw above her head like Leatherface does.
I
at the
do
end of the
remember
first
this part
one.
now.
She starts screaming her ass off and spinning around in like an intricate dance kind of
The
thing.
way that Leatherface did kind of in the first one.
It was like an interpretive dance version of that.
Right. So what, is she the new Leatherface now?
I think they were just trying to cap off the...
And the women shall inherit the earth.
I think they were just trying to build a yin-yang between the first film, where Leatherface is doing it and now the victim is doing it.
Necessary. I hate that. Whenever movies are like, oh, we'll make it like the first one, but it's different,
There's a
and that'll be
lot.
so cool.
There's a lot like the first
It's
one.
not as cool as you think it is. It's just really not.
That's the end, by the way. It goes to a black screen.
Oh, yeah, the end.
Yeah. So this movie, they took what they did in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they said, you know what? This one's gonna be gross and funny, and that was
Yeah.
their main direction. Like we're gonna play it up for laughs, and it's gonna be gross. So on that note, any other thoughts on this movie?
Hooray for more. I'm really excited about this Matthew McConaughey development.
Well, so we have one more of this trilogy to get through.
Okay.
Leatherface.
Then Matthew McConaughey.
Leatherface was not written by Tobe Hooper.
No Tobe?
No Tobe.
Oh, how's that?
It was also not filmed in Texas.
What?
It was filmed in California.
Fuck them. You can't claim that Texas delivered these people
Right.
and then not even give Texas the revenue from the filming.
So I'm
That's
glad
bullshit.
I'm glad that we got all the Texas memorabilia in this film.
Yeah, thank God.
Because it won't be in the next one.
I mean, there'll probably be more, honestly, because the set dressing.
We'll see.
I'm so excited about Matthew McConaughey.
That's 2 films from now.
I know. I'm just so excited. I'm so glad you told me that.
All right. So thanks to Brandon Tuzio for our theme.
Yes.
If you want to connect with us, you can do so at Scaredy Cat Pod
On
Twitter,
all the social mess.
Instagram, and Facebook. If you would like to send us a message, you can do that too on all of those things. And let us know if you saw this movie and you saw something that we didn't see, you can tell us about the thing that you saw in text form.
Or, another fun thing, you could record yourself saying something. Polite things, if you don't mind. And you can email it to us. Or you can send it via Messenger on any of the social thingies that we just told you about.
You can probably just put on, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, do that. That would be so fun. You
So-
get to listen to us talk all the time. So now we can listen to you talk. And, thanks for hanging in there with us while we get through this summer hump of kind of, random episodes. But we'll be back on schedule.
Yeah,
from here on out.
We've had some issues getting this one produced.
Our washing machine exploded.
We had indoor
Upstairs laundry rooms are not a good idea, it turns out.
rain. And just the going home and coming back and getting back on schedule.
And summer's hard.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening. Adios, muchachos.
Bye.